the Chicago Blackhawks absolutely blow a 3-goal lead in Minnesota and lose in the shootout in a game that they had so many opportunities to win. Welcome back to the Blackhawks Conversation postgame show. My name's Ryan McGregor. If you're new here, I am here after every single Chicago Blackhawks game doing a in-depth analysis postgame show. Also, I was actually live on YouTube during this game. It went so well. It was so much fun. Thank you to all the people who showed up and interacted and chatted and had fun in there. It was a blast. We had a few really good people in there. So I will definitely be going live for more games going forward. I'm thinking of actually going live again for the next game for Pittsburgh. So we'll see. Keep an eye out for that. Yeah, lots to get into with this game here. Hawks lose 4-3 in the shootout. They drop to 21, 23, and 9. Um, yeah, this is a game that they had lots of chances to win. Um, and for me, the story of this game is the power play once again going 0 for 5 on the night. They're 0 for 21 in their last 21 power plays now, spanning over, is it 8 or 9 games or something like that? Just absolutely abysmal. And this is a game that the Hawks played well. They outshot Minnesota 32-23. They won the faceoffs were 38-27 Chicago. They had double the giveaways, 6-3. Um, it was just a game that, and you go up 3-0 early. You get not early, but Tavo gets one early. I thought it was Bedard. I reacted on stream as if it was Connor Bedard. Tavo gets one from Bedard and Crevier. And then Ryan Donato gets one on a beautiful shot. This is a turnover by Faber in his own end behind his own net. It pops out to Ryan Donato, and it was just a perfectly placed shot. And the Blackhawks were capitalizing on Minnesota's mistakes tonight, and that's what made them so successful. Um, to go up 3-1 in the first 40 minutes or so. Um, and then Ilya Mikheyev makes it 3-0 on a beautiful shot off the rush. And this play doesn't happen without Alex Vlasic. The Hawks are hemmed in. Alex Vlasic retrieves the puck in the high slot. Instead of just shooting it down the ice, curling back into his own end, he sees Mikheyev about to fly up the wall, and he flips it into space for him. And Mikheyev, a beautiful shot off the rush, far side, to make it 3-0. And the Hawks were in a great spot at this point. So it's 3-0, 5 minutes into the second, and then Danila Yurov makes it 3-1. Matt Boldy makes it 3-2. And then 3 minutes, uh, Spurgeon makes it 3-1. Uh, I'm sorry, I'm all over the place. I'm reading the penalties. Uh, because I was live this game, I wasn't taking notes like I usually am, so I have Sportsnet open to make sure I'm getting my facts right here when I'm going through actual statistics. Yeah, sorry, Trennan makes it 1-1 on a play that, Burakovsky throws a pass cross ice, trying to find Ryan Green near the blue line. Cross board to board, tries to find Ryan Green, who's covered. And there's 3 Minnesota Wild players in between Burakovsky and Green, who's covered. And he still tries to make the pass. It obviously gets picked off. They go back the other way. Grzelcyk doesn't think it's going to get picked off. So he's not ready to pivot and go back. He gets beat by Trennan, who comes in on a 2-on-1 and shoots it far side. And it was a nice shot. Credit to Trennan. And then Joel Eriksson makes it 3-2. It's a rebound in front when Kaiser doesn't tie up his stick. And then Jared Spurgeon ties it. It's a pinching defenseman on a scramble play in front of the net. You can argue the winger didn't follow his man. Bedard was there and didn't pick up anybody. It doesn't matter. It's 3-3. We go to overtime, and the Hawks dominate in overtime. They even get a power play in overtime, and I said it on stream when the penalty got called. I said for any other team, this is a guaranteed win. Not for the Blackhawks because their power play stinks lately. And that would have been an amazing time to bust the slump, but they didn't. And Kaprizov gets the only goal in the shootout. Um, it's a game you have to win. It's a young team. They're learning. They're making mistakes and they're learning. but they've already learned a few times this season not to blow leads, and they did it in this one. And I can forgive blowing the lead because, maybe it's going to take blowing the lead a few times against a good team like Minnesota. But then you have a few chances to put the game away. Minnesota had one power play. The Hawks had 5 power plays. One of them was in overtime. Like, you have chances to put this game away and they just don't do it. And that's what was so frustrating. That and the power play was so frustrating tonight. Um, Positives. I thought the Bedard, Nazar, Teravainen line looked really, really good. I liked what I saw out of that line. I thought the Dickinson line looked all right. The Green Moore Burakovsky line was pretty much invisible except for the blatant turnover by Andre Burakovsky, who, by the way, had a few bad turnovers tonight. I'm getting sick of his game. Um, and listen, I'm not on like, oh, trade Burakovsky, you gotta trade him. I'm not going that far. But scratch him for a couple games, a game or two. You do it to the young guys, why not do it to him? He's playing terrible hockey. Um, yeah, I mean, there's not much else. I mean, Bedard looked really good. This is the first game since Bedard has come back from injury that I thought he looked back like himself. He looked really good. He was shooting the puck, he was creating plays, he was using his speed, he was getting creative. There was a play in this game, two plays that stood out to me that were absolute night and day difference between first 2 years Connor Bedard and this Connor Bedard that perfectly sums up how his game has evolved. One play in the first period, he's got the puck in the offensive zone, he's walking the line, and he's just getting abused. Cross checks. I mean, not really cross checks, they're to like the hip area, but he's getting pushed hard to get off that puck, and he keeps the puck in, stays on his feet, pushes the man off, and makes a play. And that is a play where in his first 2 seasons, he's getting knocked on his ass on the first shove to the midsection, and the puck's going the other way. So that's a huge improvement in Connor Bedard's game. And the next one was it was the reverse. Quinn Hughes had the puck in the offensive zone, and he was walking the line, and Connor Bedard gives him one of these hard cross check to the hips, knocks him off the puck, and knocks the puck out of the zone. I'm sorry, I keep hitting the microphone because I'm so into it right now. So sorry if that makes noise. So, yeah, Connor Bedard had a great game. Zero complaints with Connor Bedard. He looks back to form, which is good. And I thought he scored tonight. I thought the first goal was his. I yelled Bedard. You can see it on stream. I yelled Bedard, and it ended up being Turbo's goal, which is good because Teravainen needs to get going again. So that's good. Thought Levshunov had a pretty decent game. He made a really nice long flip pass from his own end all the way to Minnesota's blue line for a little Nazar break. Nazar couldn't make anything of it, but I thought it was a really nice pass from Levshunov. He didn't have any big mistakes, big brutal mistakes tonight, like he normally does. Spencer Knight, I thought played just fine. Um, maybe you want the Trennan goal back. Maybe you want uh the Eriksson Ek go back on the rebound, like you want better rebound control, maybe. But at that point too, you got to rely on your defenseman to tie up sticks because the puck's alone in front, and you got two guys there. Um, I didn't think Spencer Knight had an awful night, not at all. Wallstead had a shaky start, got better as the night went on, but this is not a Minnesota Wild post-game show, so we're not going to talk about that. The boys didn't show up for their moms. That's the end of the story. Um, Credit to the Wild for fighting back in this one. We have questions from Twitter. After every game, I take to Twitter. Follow me over there. I ask if anybody has any post-game questions. We got a bunch on this one. I can't answer all of them, unfortunately. So the first one's from Calvin. How do we fix the power play? Fuck if I know, man. Um, do you try Kaiser at this point? I don't know, but I don't know if that fixes anything. Know what it is? It's the break-in that needs to be fixed. So does that mean putting Oliver Moore on the top line, on the top unit? Does that mean doing what I've been saying all fucking year? Sorry, I keep swearing and I'm meaning not to, but I'm really into this. Does that mean doing what I've been saying all year, which is dump the puck in, stop the pushback entry, dump the puck in, and go get it? You have Tyler Bertuzzi who can work in the boards. Connor Bedard's gotten better at working in the boards. a lot of the time they put Nick Foligno on the power play for some reason. It's for net front presence, but so your guess is as good as mine. Um, like the question begs of, do you just leave it? Do you just ride? Like, do you leave the personnel but change up strategy? Because this power play for a lot of the year was top 10 in the league. They were eighth in the league for a long time. So this power play can do it. It might just be a matter of they've been in a slump. The slump went on a lot longer than they've anticipated, and because of that, the confidence has taken a real hit. Because when the power play is not scoring, the confidence in those guys in the power play does take a hit. So it could just be that. So honestly, to answer your question, if I were Jeff Blashill, I maybe look at getting Oliver Moore up there on the first unit, and other than that, see what happens there, and then adjust accordingly. But I wouldn't go making any massive changes. That might be a dumb answer. Maybe you should be making massive changes. But if I were Jeff Blashill, I wouldn't. Um, not a question, just a comment from Camden. He says, "I literally think we just can't beat the Wild. They had more than enough chances to win this game." And he nailed it. That's exactly what I said at the beginning of the video. They had so many chances to put this game away. 5 power plays. Our last question is from Old Cat's Eye. He says, "Do any of them have any pride? Why did they stop playing in the third period?" That's a good question, man. And I said it on stream. At the start of the year, it was the second period that sucked. Shout out to Calvin for also pointing this out on stream. Lately, it's been the third period that sucks. Closing out games, they can't do it. Whether they're up 3 or they're tied, they just can't close out games. I mean, that's textbook young team. Like, that is like, there's not many guarantees in hockey, but one of them is if you have a really young team, specifically the third youngest team in the NHL, you're going to struggle to close out games. Uh, but that's not an excuse. Like, it was all Minnesota in that third period. Granted, they were down a goal, so they were pushing to tie it. But man, you know what a good defense is? A little bit of offense. You know a really good way to protect a 3-2 lead? Make it a 4-2 lead. They don't show up in the third period lately. They haven't been. I know I said we don't have time for all the questions, but we got one more here. Just adding on to the power play, B. Sikora said, "I'm just curious how this power play went from a great unit without Bedard and Nazar to this. You'd figure it would be better. Unacceptable finish for this team." Yes, that is 100% true. Unacceptable finish. Yeah, the power play was clicking when those guys were out. You know, let's talk about the Toronto Maple Leafs for a second and an issue they have with their power play. Everybody so badly wants to get the puck to Austin Matthews for him to shoot it that everyone else is afraid to shoot because they're like, my job is to get the puck to Austin Matthews. He's the finisher. He's the one that's going to shoot. I don't know if that's still an issue with Toronto's power play. I just know a couple of years ago it was. Do we think maybe that's happening with the Blackhawks? Because listen, a big problem, I've ranted about the break-ins, but a big problem with this team's power play is they don't shoot. I will say, one thing I did notice tonight that I commented on stream, they were shooting more tonight. I'll give them that. It wasn't like they weren't shooting the puck at all. They were shooting a little bit on the power play when they had the chance. But we've seen it a lot this year where when it's struggling, it's because they don't shoot the puck. So I don't know. I'm not saying like I'm calling it. I think that's the reason it struggles is because everyone else doesn't want to shoot because they want to get the puck to Bedard. I'm not saying I think that's the issue. I'm just throwing it out there as like maybe we've seen it in Toronto with a pure goal scorer. Are we seeing it in Chicago now with a pure goal scorer? It's just something to throw out there. Something I'd love to hear your guys' opinion on. So, um, yeah, that's pretty much it for me. Like I said, I was live during this game. So if you want to watch along with me, watch the game. The chat's a lot of fun. We really get into it. It feels like we're watching the game together. You know what? I've just decided right now I'll be live for the Pittsburgh game on Thursday. I'll do it. I'll be live for the Pittsburgh game on Thursday, so please come watch that. If you're new here, I make post-game shows after every single Blackhawks game, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss one. If you have any Blackhawks fans in your life, please send them this show. It would help a lot. Trying to build a small community of Hawks fans here. And as always, listen on Spotify, because if you don't want to look at my face, but you still want to listen, this show's available on Spotify. So that's all from me. I will see you live during the Pittsburgh game on Thursday. And if you don't join, that's fine. I'll see you right here for the post game after. See you Thursday.